On my land, you want nothing. You tell your boss, my boy is under my protection.
I love the Mafia games, and I say this from the perspective of enjoying them despite their many faults. Let's talk about the latest in the series. Mafia: The Old Country rewinds time and goes back to the early 1900s Sicily, putting the player in the shoes of Enzo, a miner turned mafia guy. Enzo escapes from the evil Spadaro family into the relatively more loving hands of the Torrisi clan and gets introduced to the good life, the mafia life. You know the kind I mean. Nice suits, fancy wine, a decently priced Italian apartment, banging the Don's daughter that's definitely not going to come back to bite him in the ass in the third act. Everything a red-blooded Italian man wants out of life in a world where Olive Garden has yet to perfect Italian cuisine. Now, make no mistake, while Mafia: The Old Country is an action game at times, it is first and foremost set on telling a story. That means a lot of scenes that are just walking and talking, and driving and talking, and standing around and talking. Also, the game very clearly rigs events for the sake of suspense. For instance, you have a couple of races on horseback and by car, and the game barely hides that it's all for show. Racers move at the pace that they do to ensure not only that you come in first, but that you do so when the game wants you to. You have to be decent at these sequences to not get a game over, but it's still rigged for the story. You will get first in the horse race, but seemingly no matter how good you are, you're still going to have that near photo finish. And I'm fine with that, because racing in Mafia: The Old Country is horrible shit ass. The car mechanics are terrible and racing is not fun. I can't think of a Mafia game where the races were particularly good and not keyboard smashing levels of antagonistic. Also, this is a Mafia game, so there are a lot of vestigial features that feel tacked on for no reason. Cars do have fuel tanks and can run out of gas eventually, but you'd really have to force that to happen. None of the game's sequences are long enough and have you in the same car for long enough to get anywhere near close to running out of gas. You get money that can be spent on unlocks and upgrades, but it's wholly unnecessary. You can unlock better cars and horses, for example, but for the most part, the game's story dictates what car or horse you'll be riding, making it kinda pointless. You can unlock a gun and take it with you, only for the story to dictate that you lose all your guns immediately in that chapter. And then who knows when you'll actually get access to your armory to get it back. Enzo does have a charm bracelet where collectibles give different bonuses, but I never paid much attention to it, and the game doesn't really require you to collect them. Hunting down collectibles isn't fun, and with how railroaded the game is, you quickly get frustrated finding collectibles, only to see they're just out of reach because the game arbitrarily decided to block off that path and make you come back later. When? You'll have to figure that out yourself, because there's really no time when the game is completely open world. Enzo's a busy guy. Combat in Mafia is pretty good, and by combat I mean gunfights. What you get is a very serviceable cover shooter that occasionally frustrated me but was otherwise fine. Enemies are very inconsistently competent, so sometimes you pop out of cover and immediately get blasted by like 5 dudes who suddenly have sniper level accuracy. Other times enemy AI just breaks and starts walking right at you with no care about taking cover. Overall, I would give the shooting action a thumbs up. Where combat is awful in Mafia are the knife duel sequences. Knife duels would be okay if Mafia used them sparingly, but virtually every mini-boss and boss fight ends in a knife duel. The mechanics of the knife duel aren't fun and are exactly the same from start to the finish. And by the end of the game, they're downright exhausting. The animations often don't match the action, meaning you can watch your knife make contact, and the game just goes, "Nuh-uh, you missed." Also, the sequences that lead up to these fights get increasingly contrived as the game goes on, and the devs find it harder to explain why 2 grown men surrounded by guns in an all-out war suddenly decided to stab it out. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where by the end of Season 10, the big bad guy still wants to play a children's card game to stop the apocalypse he set off, and now it's all happening on the set of an erupting volcano because everything has to get bigger. Without spoiling anything, the last chapter left me rolling credits with a sour taste in my mouth. It was an exhausting gauntlet of very long combat followed by back-to-back multiple stealth sequences and knife fights, leading to a stealth knife fight boss fight. I'm not going to say the final chapter ruined the game, but it did impact the storytelling when it was finally over. One piece of game design I did think was incredibly creative is the street signs. For obvious reasons, Mafia doesn't have a GPS while driving, nor does it have a mini-map. What it does have are magic street signs. Whenever you need to get somewhere by road, the street signs will point you the way. It's an ingenious way of keeping the player immersed while not wasting their time pausing the game and checking the map to see where you need to go next. Honestly, it's a really good idea. Should you play Mafia the Old Country? Absolutely. The game debuted at $50 USD, which takes the sting off if you're going to play it right here, right now. Check it out on PC or console, and like and subscribe if you want more of these videos.
Yes.